Hey, and welcome back to episode 2 of LOOGY. I'm your host, Zach, here with Andrew.
Hello.
And today we're going to be talking about some Mets baseball, some storylines throughout the league, and some MLW, Major League Wiffle Ball. It's gonna be a good show.
I'm very excited.
So this week, Metsies 4-3, 3.4 runs scored per game, 3.4 runs allowed per game. Standings, first place still, 3 games ahead of the Nats. Same problem as last week.
We just can't score runs. I think we had a 7-run game, which is nice.
Yeah.
But other than that, I really thought once we got Conforto back recently, we got McNeil back recently.
Mhm.
We're getting some more reinforcements on the way. We basically have our opening day lineup back, but they're just not hitting.
Yep. I mean, around the league, not a lot of guys are hitting, but
That is very true.
yeah, I only watched the game Monday, and Eichhoff, that's how you say his name, right? Eichhoff.
Yeah, Jared Eichhoff.
Jared Eichhoff was pitching. The Nats 5-0 in the sixth. They hit their first single in the sixth to make it 5-0. So really, it's just a long ball was beating us. Mets fought back a little bit, but yeah, Miguel Castro came in and kind of
Oh yeah, he gave out that bomb, kind of ruined the comeback,
yeah, kind
unfortunately.
of dampened the mood. But it happens.
Yeah, I mean, we're still amazingly in first place.
Yeah.
I still think the Nats are just hot right now. I don't think they have that good of a team.
Hmm.
And then if you look back to the Phillies and the Braves were 5 and 5.5 up on them. So I think we're still looking okay.
Yeah.
But it is hard to watch when we just can't get hits and can't put up runs.
Yeah. But 4-3, still a winning record this week, so we'll take all we can get, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Trevor Bauer's in the news again with a interview on MLB, or not on MLB, on ESPN. Uh, ESPN Monday Night Baseball against the Cubbies, talking about some more of his thoughts on the whole sticky situation, pun intended, that they got out there on the mound.
Oh yeah.
So basically, he's discussing what is illegal and what isn't, and how are umps going to be able to tell what's what's illegal and what's not, right?
Yeah, he's basically saying that there's no objectivity with the umpires. There's no hard rule that they have to follow. It's really just, oh, is this glove too sticky?
Yeah, do I want to take a personal issue with this guy? Like, it's almost like they can pick who they want to, who who they want to target.
He was saying the umpires almost aren't making these calls because they don't want to look like the bad guy. So they're just telling pitchers, oh, just don't be too obvious about it, and we won't make it a whole big thing.
Right. It's like the MLB is trying to solve. It's like they're not trying to solve this issue. They're trying to make it a headline, and it's work. Like, I don't know. They're not being smart about it. Was basically what he was saying. They're making it worse. They're making it more obvious to the viewers that they're cheating. Basically, calling all the pitchers cheaters by checking all their gloves. Like the pitchers are getting offended by it, and Trevor's just like, how are they gonna what they set up so far, middle of the season, which doesn't really make any sense. With what they have set up, how are they going to make this a solid rule that's going to be able to be followed and fairly, taken care of?
Yeah, I think it is just a big issue that the MLB has in general is just no consistency. There's a lot of things where there's really no rule saying exactly how to deal with a situation. It's up to the umpire. And
Hmm.
when you have 30 different umpire crews, or I mean it's probably 15 different umpire crews, they're all going to deal with situations differently. So then you're going to see one umpire who's really checking, and maybe that guy's going to find a few guys that are using it. And then you have
Uh-huh.
some other umpires that don't really care, don't want to make a scene, don't want to be the bad guy, and they're just gonna let it go and not do anything. So there really isn't. If you're having the umpires check it with no real guidance,
Hmm.
there's no way it's going to be good. I think he had a really good idea, which was at the end of the inning, pitcher comes off the mound, goes into the dugout. They have a independent third party. You
Hmm.
hand them your glove. They swab your glove. They swab your hand. They run tests on it. And he was saying if it comes back with a certain percentage over the limit of
Hmm.
one of these foreign substances, then they flag it, they investigate it more, and if they found that you broke the rule, then you get suspended. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good system.
Yeah. He said he compared it to like the TSA, I think, where
Yes,
there's
exactly.
a guy who's checking you, basically patting you down, like you got something on you. And I mean, he demonstrated he demonstrated the issue he has with this pretty well in another interview where he um puts just some rosin and some sweat, just sweats a little bit, puts some rosin in his hand, holds up his hand to the television screen, and he has the ball hanging off his palm, and the crew is like, legal or not legal, and he's just like, this is just rosin and sweat. How is an ump going to, which is rosin is on the mound, it's been on the mound since the beginning of time, and it's just stuck to his hand like it's spider tack. Like how would an ump be able to tell by rubbing the glove or rubbing some guy's hand? It's just
Exactly.
not an efficient way to do it. And he's like, it's funny because he does this during MLB games while while the MLB is going on. He's like, look how dumb these guys are.
Yeah. That is it's crazy. My opinion on Trevor Bauer just goes back and forth and back and forth because there are a lot of things that he does where he just comes off not in a great way. But then there's stuff like this where he's calling the MLB out on a
Yeah.
national MLB broadcast.
His
And
employer.
yeah, and he's making really good arguments and he's
Yeah.
speaking so well about it. Hector Santiago became the first player to get caught and
Got him.
suspended for using foreign substances. I think he recently appealed the suspension, so he's technically not suspended
He's
yet.
a cheater.
But
No,
it was
no Hall of
interesting.
Fame.
It was interesting listening to his interview after the game because
Hmm.
I mean, obviously he's going to deny it. He was just saying he only used rosin.
Of
That's what's on
course.
the mound. That's the only thing he
Of
used. He
course.
said he put it just on both of his arms to keep him from sweating, which I found out also that it's technically illegal to put rosin on your glove side arm because I guess you could use your pitching hand to touch it and get that extra
The
rosin and
sunscreen
sweat.
rosin.
But I don't think that's enough on its own to get suspended. I think the real thing is they have to find it in the glove. I
Okay.
was watching the Phillies game last night. Jose Alvarado, the umpire stopped him because he had put it on his glove arm, but they just basically made him wash it off.
Yeah.
But so he was coming off the mound. The umpire felt something sticky inside the glove,
Ew.
so they threw him out of the game. But the article I was reading on it was very interesting. The one quote they said the glove was sent to New York, but sources said it wasn't necessary for further inspection because the ejection and suspension are solely based on the umpire's report of having detected a foreign substance. So if the umpire thinks it and says it, that's it.
Hmm. So
Which I don't know about that.
they basically said they sent it to New York for no reason.
Well, the main thing was that there's no follow up. If the umpire thinks
Hmm.
that it's foreign substance, then
He's the law.
he's the law as far as we can say there
Wow.
was foreign substances and he's suspended. So I don't think this appeal is going to change anything, but I guess we never know.
I'm looking up the first guy caught using steroids in the MLB, and
Okay,
he's gonna be the sticky substance version of this guy.
I love it.
Let's see. First guy caught using steroids. Is there gonna be a name pulled up, you think?
I think
You think
so.
anything's actually gonna come up? First guy got Tom House. Admitted to using steroids that they wouldn't give to horses during his playing career.
Oh, so he admitted after he
The
retired. Oh,
use
I
of
guess that makes
performance
sense.
enhancing drugs was widespread at the time. Yeah, I don't think this. I don't think there was a first guy that got kicked out. Maybe they just got like a bunch of them all at the same time. I don't know. It was pretty obvious when people were using steroids, and it's odd that people that use steroids, like Barry Bonds and all those guys, like Mark McGuire, like I don't like those guys. I like when you hear their names, you think cheater, like bad sportsman. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Hector Santiago, I don't have any kind of like I don't have a tisk to him. You know what I mean?
right,
Like it's
exactly.
just not. This whole thing just doesn't seem like.
I think it's just not relatable because
Yeah.
us, I guess it wasn't a secret. Everyone close to the game knew it was happening.
Hmm.
But to me, honestly, I didn't even know this was a thing until very recently. So, yeah, it's hard to really feel like these guys are the worst and they're these huge cheaters because it's,
Yeah, because it seems like a lot of people do it, and there's not a really solid way to tell if someone did it. Like, it's not like steroids where you can physically test them and be like, yeah, you took steroids.
exactly.
With this, it's like something so different. So, I don't know. I think they're gonna have to definitely get something like what Bauer's talking about, just like an official third party that can just check them before they go on. It's kind of an annoying thing that has to be talked about, but you know, I guess the game changes, game evolves.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the boring version of the steroid era is going on right now, apparently.
I know it's so boring in comparison. It's crazy.
Yeah, why couldn't we have the steroid era again? And another big storyline this week, Max Krennic.
Yeah, this one, I mean, this one's really cool, but also a bummer. It's Max Granick, starting pitcher for the Padres or Pirates, just got called up, making his MLB debut. Was pitching 5 perfect innings, and then the game gets rained out, or at least delayed for rain, so we had to get pulled out of the game.
That's tough. I mean, great. I mean, that's a great debut, but parents in the stands, most likely,
Yeah,
fans getting very excited. Obviously, this kid's pooping his pants,
yeah,
but like in a great way. I mean, like he's got nothing to lose really, too. And it's like when you're in the league for a while and you start throwing a perfect game, you're like, oh boy, like this is this is crazy. But
yeah.
like when it's your first game, you're already in the mode of this is crazy. Like I'm in the MLB. I'm pitching an MLB game. And
Exactly.
when
Yeah,
the
I
five
wonder.
perfect innings go, it's like I might as well see where this takes me. You know, it's
Yeah, I wonder if he even knew, honestly, that he was throwing. You hear all these stories about guys. They
yeah,
don't know it's a perfect game, or they don't know it's a no hitter until the seventh inning.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's a very interesting one. I mean, I have here he never pitched above high A until this year. So he's this
Wow.
guy who, I mean, could have been a top prospect. I didn't look too much into him,
Hmm.
but he was not playing high level minor league baseball. He was he had a 4.66 ERA in AAA. So like this guy's just called up to make a start because they need somebody, and then he goes and does this. But he's dealing his 50 pitches through 5 perfect. That's
Wow.
incredible.
50 pitches too. So he was on his way. He was doing great.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Wow. Got more than halfway through the game. I mean, hopefully we'll see some more of that kind of pitching from him. Hopefully he gets like another, it'll suck if that's his only shot that he ever gets at something like that, but
Well, so I heard he got sent down after the appearance.
what?
But I think it's more of a roster manipulation thing where they'll bring him back up before his next start.
Okay. I was
But
gonna say, what do the Pirates have
congratulations.
a crazy rotation where they're like, only five perfect? Send him back down.
Yeah, not enough.
Yeah, not to get not he can't get in this Pirates rotation. Sorry,
Yeah,
we're too hot right now.
exactly.
Andrew, you've always been a facts guy.
Uh-huh.
You got any crazy facts for me? Anything cool happened this week?
So I do have one that I stumbled across that I think is very interesting.
I knew you would.
So on June 13th, 1994, your boy Ryan Sandberg announced his
94,
retirement
my boy. Let's go.
because he was dissatisfied with his hitting numbers for the season.
Yeah,
So at the time of retirement, his triple slash, which is batting average, on base percentage, slugging,
of course.
was 238, 312, 400.
Mm.
Okay. It's June 30th, 2021, and the
Uh-huh.
league as a whole is hitting 239, 314, 400. So same slugging, 2 points better on base, 1 point better batting average.
So he was bang average in 94. He wasn't
Yeah,
slumping at all.
he'd be an average hitter today, but he at the time 238 was so bad that he
He was
retired because
ashamed of himself.
exactly.
Wow. I think
Mhm.
that everyone in the league should take a good look in the mirror
Yeah,
and and wake up, you know?
exactly.
Do you remember the Ryan Sandberg game back in 84 by any chance?
No, remind me.
He goes 5 for 6, game tying home run in the in I think the ninth and the 10th.
Yeah.
And they end up beating the Cardinals. Crazy game. 2 home runs. Speaking of home runs, how about that home run derby lineup so far, huh? We got Trevor Story, we got Big Pete, the polar bear Alonso, Shohei Showtime Otani, and Trey Mancini. But we got 4 spots open still. And I think we should be consulted by the MLB to fill in those last 4. I don't think that, you know, Google vote should be a thing. I think they should just probably come to the boys at Loogy for our opinion because I think it's probably the best and it's what everybody wants anyway. So,
I agree. I think that's a great idea.
so if you could, slot some boys in those final 4 spots, who are you looking at? Give me some options.
Yeah, so you texted me about this, and I did a little bit of research trying to figure out who I would most want to see. And my biggest thing was looking for guys who've never done it before.
Okay, I like
Because
that.
it is cool to see, there's in recent years a lot of great people who did it who didn't win.
Hmm.
But I think that, there's so many guys in the league. There's so many guys that can hit for power now.
Yep.
I think it would be more interesting to see new guys.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
I know Vladdy did it in 2019. He has already said he's not going to do it this year.
Sadly.
I would love to see Fernando Tatis. He also said he's not going to do it.
Oh, I
Um,
didn't know that. That
yeah,
sucks.
so
What a bum.
looking at other guys who haven't done it,
Yep.
one guy I would love to see, Joey Gallo. I was
Yeah.
shocked to see that he hasn't done it before. But he's got 18 home runs this year. He just has monster power.
Hmm.
Obviously, he just crushes the ball.
That's
So
all he
I
does.
love to see him at Coors Field, just cranking homers to right field.
Of
I
course.
think he would put on a show.
Definitely.
So I would love to see him. Other guy, his teammate actually, Adolis Garcia,
Yep. He's on
rookie
my
this year,
list.
20 home runs. He's slowed down a little bit, but
Yeah.
he's another guy with monster power, and I would just love to see him
Yeah.
competing.
You'd love to see a rookie in there.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Few other guys. I went over the 4, so I just thought I'd bring up a few others. Jordan Alvarez. He doesn't have the most impressive home run numbers this year. He's got 13 home runs,
Hmm.
but he's another guy who hits it so hard. I looked up.
Yep.
He's 97th percentile for max exit velocity this year. Like he just crushes the
He's
ball.
banging them.
So I
That's
think
what you want at Coors.
yeah, exactly. He's definitely more of a line drive guy. So I don't know if he would be, your ideal contestant, but
Hmm.
I think he'd be a cool guy to watch.
Yeah.
Um, I have 2 other guys who have never competed that I would like to see. I wanted Rafael Devers. I think
Okay. Yeah.
he would be cool. He's some
He's
of
hitting a
his. I
lot
was
this
looking
year.
up some of his. Yeah, he's got 19 home runs this year.
Yeah.
He's 5th in the MLB in expected home runs. He's up there in exit velocity. He's has the furthest average home run this year for
Mm-hmm.
players with at least, I think it was at least 12. There's a few guys who have higher averages, but they've only hit, I think, 10. But he's at 19 and he has the furthest average. So I think he'd be another really cool guy to see just cranking them out.
Yeah, and kind of
Um,
criminally underrated as a
yeah,
player
it's
overall.
unfortunate.
So,
He,
because he puts
yeah,
up numbers.
he definitely does. And then my last guy was number 5 was Matt Olson. Another.
Okay. Yeah.
mm, I don't know if I would necessarily call him underrated, but he does have 20 home runs this year. You don't really hear too many people talking about him.
Yeah, he's batting 292, so
Yeah,
well
another guy
above the
who's
average as we just heard in
yeah,
2021.
another guy who's crushing the ball. So yeah, those were my 5 that I had thought of, and then don't necessarily have to go with guys who've never been in it. Schwarber would be another guy, especially with the pace he's on right now.
Yeah,
To
he's on
see
my list
him,
just given what he's done in the past week.
yeah, he's just on such a tear. He put on a show in 2018. He
Yeah,
lost 19-18 Bryce Harper in the last round. Um, and then
beautiful lefty swing.
yes, love to watch him hit home runs. And
Yeah.
then my other guy that I had was Jock Peterson, just because he's just a home run derby guy. Like this year, he's got 11 home runs,
Hmm.
but he's a guy who took Vladdy to 3 swing offs in
Yeah.
2019, lost 40-39,
Arguably
and
the best, actually not even arguably, the best round of home run derby of all
yes,
time by far.
absolutely. So he would be another cool one to see, but he's done it at least twice. So I think it would be more interesting to see the guys who've never done it before.
Yeah, and I've got only 2 more that you didn't mention.
Okay.
Um, Yerman Mercedes. Did you
Okay.
mention
Yep.
him?
I was looking at him. I didn't mention him.
The only reason I bring him up is because he's got the longest ball this
Yep.
year at 485. He doesn't hit that many, but he's huge. He's a huge man.
Yes.
He makes the bat look like a bit of a toothpick in his hand, and it's just fun to watch those guys crank in the home run derby. I'm sure if they lobbed him over for him, he would be able to put out a couple over 500 at cores. Maybe, who knows? That would just be awesome to watch. And of course, as a Cubs fan, I'm putting Patrick Wisdom in there this year.
That's a. I did not even consider him, but that
I
is a
mean,
good one. I think he'd be cool.
11 home runs. Guess how many hits he has this year?
I don't know.
Let me make sure I get this right so I don't sound like a fool. Let me make sure I get this right. 26 hits
11 home runs.
and 11 home runs.
Damn.
That's nearly half of his hits are home runs. I mean, he only hits home runs. He's 29. He's been in the league for 4 years. Nobody's even heard of him. And this year he's cracking them out of the park. I, as a Cubs fan, would love to see Patrick Wisdom just get destroyed by Pete or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you never know, That's the beauty of the HRD. I think we've got some good names here. I think we can narrow some down. So
Yeah.
I've got this as the list right now. I think I missed one. I got Joey Gallo, Adolis Garcia, Patrick Wisdom, Yerman Mercedes, Kyle Schwarber, Rafael Devers, Matt Olson, and I think there was one more that you had.
I said Jordan Alvarez, but I think we could get him
Just
off the
scrap
list
him?
anyway. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember his name, so I guess that's okay with me. But you said he's the guy with the furthest average home runs, or was that Rafael
He
Devers?
that's Devers. Devers has the furthest average. Yeah.
Okay. That might cement his spot for me personally.
Yeah.
Devers.
I'm good with him.
All right, let's get Devers in there. I'm gonna circle him. All right, how do we feel about Schwarber having already been in it? Is that
Yeah.
a deal breaker or is that something we're willing to overlook?
I think because he's on this pace so close to the All-Star game and the
Hmm.
home run derby, I think you got to put him in it.
I agree. I think it's been spectacular to watch, and he does have one of my favorite home run swings.
And
So
he's another guy who he's done it before and he's been really successful in it, so he'll put
yeah,
on a good show.
he's not going to be boring to watch. He's not gonna be a Chris Bryant. All right.
Yeah.
Adolis Garcia is another guy that I would like to see just because he's a rookie.
Yeah, I say include him as well.
Okay. So it leaves us with one spot left, and I'm gonna read the names, and you tell me the first one that you want to put in there, and we will argue if I disagree
Yeah.
to the death. Matt Olson, Yerman Mercedes, Patrick Wisdom, or Joey Gallo.
Between Gallo and Wisdom.
I was gonna say Gallo,
All right. Okay.
so we don't even have to fight
Sounds good.
because I knew you just wanted to be nice to me and say Wisdom would be cool and to see, but he would only really be cool for those Northside fans. So we got a lineup here. I think it's got a lot of we put a lot of beefy boys
Yeah, a
into
bunch
the
of big
team.
boys.
Just all the beefiest boys that we had besides maybe Yerman. Um okay, so should we match up the four existing current Derby participants against our four chosen first in our
Yeah, I
bracket?
like that.
All right, so who do we want to see face Trevor Story, the hometown kid for the home run derby?
Well,
He's an NL guy. Do we want to
and
match him against an AL guy or an NL guy?
I don't know. I'm just trying to decide if we want the hometown guy to lose in round one. Honestly, I think
Ah,
any of the four people would beat him except for maybe Garcia, just because he's a little more unproven.
I think that would be a good matchup then,
I think so too.
because I think that's like you would like the hometown kid to win, but you'd also like the rookie to win.
Yeah.
So it's like either way, you're like kind of rooting for both of them. Or I mean, is it bad to do a matchup like that? Do we want there to be a clear uh, antagonist and protagonist in a home run derby? I don't know how you like to enjoy watching these.
I think it'd be good because I think the problem is you can really only do storyline matchups in the first round. And after that, it's just going to be whoever's better. So
True.
I think matching up guys who will be interesting against each other, I think would be good.
Yeah. And also those two guys, I think out of the four, actually Trey Mancini is probably or is less of an in than Trevor Story, I would say. But if Trevor Story or Adolis Garcia makes it into the next round, which they would, one of them would, if they were matched up, either way, it's a rookie is in the second round or hometown boy is in the second round. So I think
Yeah.
that is a pretty good matchup we got there. All right, MLB, call us up. We are matching up Adolis and Trevor Story. Do you think this is how they do it or do you think they like just draw names out of a hat?
I think well, if we look at these last year's matchups, they seem kind of random, but I mean, they do seed people, but I feel like the seeds are dumb because Vladdy was an 8 seed and Matt Chapman was a 1 seed.
Is
I
it
don't
based off
really
of home runs
understand
at the
that.
time or something?
Maybe?
But Vladdy 8 seed? I don't know if he
I'm
was
looking at
8.
some of these 1 seeds. 2018, Jesus Aguilar was a 1 seed going against guys like Harper and Hoskins and Schwarber and Baez. I don't know. I feel like these seeds are random.
Okay. I mean, I guess it should be because who knows what's going on.
Sure.
All right, I'm seeing Pete, Shohei, Trey.
Give me
Um,
Pete against Schwarber, NL East matchup.
okay, I like that. Mets, Nats, kind of got a little bit of bad blood there. Shohei against. See, Trey Mancini is the one that I think we should match up with someone we think will beat him.
Yes.
So, do you think Joey Gallo is the strongest of the two, Joey Gallo or Rafael Devers? I think they're both pretty strong.
Yeah, I'd say go for Gallo. Well, it's
Gallo
tough because
Mancini,
if you go Gallo versus Otani, you get the AL West
right? You get the
matchup.
Angels, Rangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or Gallo
Or
will.
or Sox Orioles, so that way we get the
Yeah, that's true. If we're going all
AL
storylines,
East.
let's do that. We'll go Mancini against
Okay.
Devers and Otani versus Gallo. Otani versus Gallo would be an awesome round.
Yeah, it would. That would be sick. To start it off too, first round. All right. So do we want to pick who we think's gonna win, or do we just want to say here's our bracket?
Well, I think we can try to pick a winner.
All right. So
I
we start
think,
with Story Garcia.
yeah, give me, well,
All right.
hmm,
I think we should do our own, right? Okay, I'll ask you, and then you tell me, and then I'll tell you who I pick.
okay. So I'm gonna rapid fire. Give me Story over Garcia.
All right. I also picked Story over Garcia. All right. Alonzo Schwarber.
That is a tough one. I hate to say it, but you got to go for Schwarber right now. He's just too much on fire.
Yeah, I'm also taking Schwarb. Otani Gallo.
Otani.
I want Otani to win, but I'm picking Gallo because he's a freaking gorilla.
True.
And then we got Mancini Devers.
Yeah, Rafi.
Yeah, I also got Rafi. So pretty similar. I just got Gallo. You got Otani. Hopefully you're right. All right, let's say that Story faces Schwarber next.
Schwarber.
Same. Or you got Otani Devers,
Otani.
and I've got Gallo Devers. I guess I'll go Gallo again. So you got Schwarber and Otani, and I've got Schwarber and Gallo.
I gotta go for Otani to win it all, just because there's nothing that man can't do right now.
All right, that's beautiful. I hope you're right because I think that'd be just an incredible story. I'll go with Schwarber because he's my boy and I love
Yeah.
him. And I think Schwarber Gallo would be the meatiest, beefiest. Like maybe Schwarber 2 years ago would have been better, but
Yeah.
we'll take Schwarber now going against Gallo. I think that'll be like a possible um, Peterson Vlad rematch. I think that would be just the battle of the Titans.
Yeah, that would be awesome to watch.
It would be fun. I think keeping Otani would be just as good. So I think our derby would be very exciting, and I
I
hope
agree.
the MLB seriously takes this into consideration. You know, because they should be giving the fans what they want, and we're fans.
The best fans, some might say.
You definitely. I'm an
Yeah.
average fan. All right. So Adolis Garcia. He's kind of a diamond in the rough that Texas found this year, huh?
A little bit. He's a guy that got traded to them just a little piece. I learned today that they waived him. The Rangers waived him,
What?
and no one claimed him, so they kept him. And now he's doing this, which is crazy.
They were like, I guess we'll have to keep him. He was like, yeah, you better keep me. Because I'm a beast.
Exactly.
You got any other diamonds in the rough out there?
I do. I have one that I'm very excited about. I did a deep dive this week. This guy, I don't know if you would necessarily call him a diamond in the rough. He's If Jacob DeGrom didn't exist, he'd be the front runner for NL Cy Young. But it's a guy
Yeah.
who I think has a lot of interesting stats that have been spending a lot of time looking into. So that man is Kevin Gausman, starting pitcher for the Giants. And he is just having an electric year. He's got 1.68 ERA, 8-2. He's really just been dominating. And again, like I said, if DeGrom didn't exist, he's easily the best pitcher in the NL. And it interests me because he's been in the league for a long time. He hasn't
Mhm.
really had that much success. So I was curious why all of a sudden he's just on fire. So I went back and did some research. He was fourth overall pick by the Orioles. So he has the
Okay.
prospect pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
He in his Orioles career, he pitched there for 6 years, 4.22 ERA, so nothing spectacular. He got traded to the Braves for some small pieces. He struggled there, 4.77 ERA. Got waived, claimed by Cincinnati, 4 ERA there. And then the Giants signed him last year. He had a pretty good year, 3.62 ERA in the shortened season. And then they re signed him again, and he's got the 1.68, and he's been dominating. And I wanted to look into why exactly he's
Yeah.
dominating. And the main reason that everyone's pointing to is his splitter. His splitter is the best pitch in baseball right now. According to run value, which is a baseball savant statistic,
Mm-hmm.
it's the best pitch in baseball. And his fastball is the sixth best pitch in baseball. So, I mean, that makes sense.
Okay.
Obviously, if you have two
Yeah.
incredible pitches, you're going to be great. But then I wondered why is his splitter so good?
Mm-hmm.
So I went and looked at those metrics, and to me, it's not anything special. It has 5% more vertical movement than your average splitter, 12% more horizontal. So a little bit better than a normal splitter.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I don't know.
And is
Splitter
so.
is, if you can throw a splitter, it's hard to hit, but
Mm-hmm.
it didn't seem like anything too special.
And he's just throwing that with his fastball most of the time. Does he have a third
He's
pitch he's
throwing
been
that.
throwing?
He's got a changeup and a slider. He doesn't throw them too often, and they're not that good. But again, so he's got these two
Hmm.
great pitches. So seeing that he went from struggling to dominating, I was curious just to see what has changed. Because normally, if you have this guy who's been in the league for a really long time, and now all of a sudden he's getting results finally,
Mm-hmm.
generally he's made some big mechanical change, or he's throwing different pitches, or throwing a pitch differently, or something. But I really wasn't able to find anything. I went back and compared everything to his last full season, which is 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at his splitter, he's throwing it the exact same percent. 37% of the time, he's throwing a splitter. The velocity on the splitter, it's a zero point 0.1 mile an hour difference. So nothing different. Spin rate is the same. Location, I looked at all his scatter plots. He's throwing the pitches in the exact same place. Most of his splitters,
Oh,
bottom
really?
half, throwing them into righties. It's I looked at percentage of balls in the zone. He's right along league average. Out of the zone, right along league average. And it just doesn't make too much sense to me. I mean, people aren't really hitting his pitches, but he's just not doing anything different. Throwing the same pitches in the same places, the same speed. And honestly, I think if you asked him what is different this year, I think he would say, I don't know. I think he's doing the exact same thing, but for some reason this year, guys can't hit it. And I think I've been looking at this for a few days, and I haven't really been able to see anything that is showing me why he's having this success. And the one thing I think is what it is his fly ball to home run rate. So he's a fly ball pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
57% of the balls in play are either line drives or fly balls.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, he's on 8% of the balls hit in the air are turning into home runs.
Okay.
The rest of his career, it's 13.9%. So he's just not giving up as many home runs this year.
Dead ball.
League average, well, that's what I thought. But league average this year is 13.6%.
Hmm.
So he's just way under. But that can happen. You can reduce it if you're getting weaker contact.
Mm-hmm.
But I looked at that. His exit velocity given up is almost exactly the same as 2019. Launch angle given up almost exactly the same.
Hmm.
His splitter is getting a lot more ground balls when people make contact, but again, he's not throwing it in a different place or throwing it any harder or throwing it with more movement. So I think, which sounds like kind of a cop out answer, but I think he's just getting really lucky.
I was
And
just about to say I think it's a fluke.
yeah, and I have a feeling my bold prediction is that the second half of the year he's going to struggle and he's not going to be considered one of the best pitchers in the NL.
I would have to agree to you, given all this Detective Andrew information I'm getting right now.
I just kept looking and looking and looking because I just thought there has to be something.
Yeah, like some reason why he's so effective. I'm looking at the Giants defense. It's eighth best in defensive runs saved with 29, which, it's not anything special, really.
Right.
Um, like not anything that would change anything drastically for him. Um, and he's giving up 3.6 hits per start. 2019, he gave up 3.7, I think. So he's giving up roughly the same amount of hits per start, and they're just not getting runs off of their hits this year, it seems.
Yeah. The
He's
other
got
one,
25 walks. In 2019, he had 32 walks in 31 starts. He's got 25 and 16 this year.
yep.
So it's not like guys are getting on base less. That's just weird.
I know there's one stat that it's strand rate or left on base rate. There's a few different ways depending on what website you're looking. And I know his strand rate is very high this year, meaning he's getting out of a lot of runner on
Fans.
base situations, which
Interesting.
normally that over the course of a season tends to even out.
Hmm.
It's I mean, you can be a really good pitcher and you're clutch and you bear down when there's guys on base. But
Yeah.
generally, oh here I just found it. So 2019, his left on base rate 61%. This year it's 87%. So that alone kind of says he's probably he's getting timely outs, but again, that usually over a full season tends to even out.
Yeah. And you said his percentage of fly balls converted to home runs is went from 13% to 8% or
Yeah,
something
his
like that.
career is 13.9%. This year he's at 8%.
So, and you said this year the average home run hit is 13%.
13.6.
What was did you know the average of 2019?
I believe it was around 12%.
Okay, so it wasn't that much better either.
Yeah, it,
Or
it
it
was
wasn't that
it was
much more than
similar.
this year. Okay. Yeah, it seems like it seems like case might be like what's it called? It might need to be a cold case because it's unsolvable until he starts getting yanked on in the second half of the season,
Yeah, we'll
possibly.
just have to wait and see
Yeah,
if he comes back down to earth or he could keep dominating and it could be a confidence thing. I mean, I know, a lot of times we don't think about the human element of the sport.
yeah, true.
Um, but yeah, all stats wise, looking at all the StatCast metrics,
Yeah,
it's it's kind of baffling to me.
yeah. That's a lot of good work in there.
Thank you.
A lot of good detective work. You been watching any? I watch this sometimes because I'm not gonna lie, I get entertained by it. Major League Wiffle Ball.
Yes, the MLW is incredible. I just discovered it this year, and I'm
Same.
hooked. I'm hooked.
It's great. It is very reminiscent of the old days when we used to play wiffle ball
That is
back in.
exactly what I was thinking last night. It reminds me so much being in the front yard,
Yep.
playing wiffle ball, writing down our stats,
Yeah.
and they just took it to another level.
Yeah. So if you don't know about the MLW, um, some kids up in Michigan, like 9 years ago, I think, started a wiffle ball league in their backyard, and just had a bunch of friends over, made official teams, and took stats, had seasons, championships. They've been doing it for 9 years now. They play in I think, a park or something. They're not in the yard they used to be in, at least. And it's just a bunch of dudes playing wiffle ball and having fun, and it's very pure and very entertaining to watch, if I do say so. They do a great job producing it, make it look like, a official broadcast, really. They've got kids doing the announcing. I say kids, but they're like probably just a couple years younger than me.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I mean, I'll catch you up on the season if you haven't been watching. Last year, I think the Metro Magic won the championship. Is that right, Andrew?
I
Do you
believe
know?
so.
Metro Magic won the championship, and they're struggling this year at the start of the season. I don't know if you know this, Andrew, but nobody's batting over 250. They've got, I think, the lowest record right now in the league. They got ERAs at 31.5 and 14.4. Jack Ager and Liam Jackson. Jack just came in, I think, for an inning, maybe. And Liam Jackson's one of their starters at 14.4. Not a hot start to their season. But on the opposite side of that spectrum, we got Kyle Schultz tearing it apart. He's batting 519 to start off the year. And him and Nick Saylor, pitching duo, those two, they're looking great right now. Nick Saylor also batting over 300, which is not that common for this league. I mean, it's just the beginning of the year, so things can change, but those two look like they're headed in a great direction. That team's looking good. And the Diamondbacks at the top of the league are the final headline. Um, they're led by your boy Jimmy Norp,
Oh yeah,
1.59 ERA, 484 batting average. I think he hit for the cycle earlier this year.
he did.
Not not seen a lot in this league. If you haven't watched this league, check it out. It is entertainment. Small field, guys just running, gunning, giving it their all, having a good time. They got mic'd up sessions. They got everything. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The production value on it is awesome. It was really
Yeah.
fun. I went back and looked at their earlier playlists,
hmm
and their I don't remember exactly what year they started. Let's say it's 2010.
hmm
It's literally a bunch of toddlers running around in the backyard while their parents film them playing wiffle ball.
hmm
And now, like you said, they have mic'd up. They got a basically a stadium with a wall with sponsors.
Yeah.
They got a guy announcing the game. They keep every stat. They put it online. They have their website. They have merch. You can buy uniforms for your favorite player.
You can?
Yeah, it's awesome.
What?
I know. I'm debating buying a Jimmy Norp jersey. It's just a T-shirt, but they wear T-shirts.
I'm gonna get you a Jorgensen one for you for
Oh no,
Christmas.
no. Well, on that note, yeah, I thought I would talk about very briefly just some of my favorite players. You already brought up Jimmy Norp. He's just insane. He's easily the most fun player to watch. He gives me the Shohei Ohtani vibe, where he's an unbelievable pitcher,
hmm
unbelievable hitter. He's like a Ohtani Tatis combo, which is hard to do. But he's just on the base pass. He's so exciting. He turns a ground ball up the middle into a triple. He
hmm
he's just awesome. He's flying around the field. The early MVP favorite for me, and I think probably for everyone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then Trevor Bonham is a kid that really surprised me. He's this short, skinny kid. Looks like he's 5 years younger than everyone else in the league. And he's easily one of the best pitchers. He's a great hitter. He might lead the league in home runs, or maybe he's second. So I
hmm
gave him my Jacob deGrom player comp. Great
Okay.
pitcher, great hitter. Not quite a Jimmy Norp level hitter, but very
hmm
good.
But good for a pitcher,
And
definitely.
then my next favorite is Chris Cheatham. We talked about him. I don't think his hitting stats are anything crazy, but he's unbelievable pitcher.
Solid.
So my comp for him is Garrett Cole with Spider Tack.
Ah, okay. That's an important inclusion
Yeah. Yeah,
specification.
not recent
Not
Garrett
crybaby,
Cole.
not crybaby Garrett Cole.
No, not quite. And then my
He's looking
last,
rough.
yeah, he not great.
Feel
And
bad
my
for him a little bit.
well, he's getting what, $350 million to
True, and he's a
suck
Yankee,
it up.
so never
So yeah.
mind.
My last favorite is my boy Rudy. He's a guy who I hated. Well, I wanted to hate in the beginning because he's just this loud, obnoxious dude. But he is just so funny and he's so bad. But he's just chirping at people the entire game.
Yeah.
Anytime he's like the team hype man. And he's just so funny. So my
Yeah.
comp, I couldn't really find a comp. My closest I could think of was Francisco Lindor. He's
Okay.
just that team guy, the glue
Yeah.
guy, always talking,
Keeps the
always like,
energy up.
yeah, he brings the energy, but is kind of struggling on the field. But
Perfect for him.
that was that was all I wanted to talk about with MLW. But yeah, it is extremely entertaining. If you haven't watched it, I think it's MLW Wiffle or MLW Wiffle Ball on YouTube, and it's a blast.
Yeah. Definitely check it out. Definitely. Today's June 30th. The year's 2021. And today will forever be remembered as the day that we recorded Loogie number 2, of course. What else is in today's history book besides the birth of Mike Tyson?
Well, that was beautiful. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything for June 30th. I read through so many
What?
facts, and they were all so boring. So I
Wow.
went for June 29th. I think I found a good one.
Okay.
So on June 29th, 1916, only one baseball is used during a Reds 9-6 win over the Cubs at Redland Field. There are
What?
no home runs or foul balls that land in the stands during the game. So I
Dude.
did a little bit more research to see how different that is to today's game. And
Mm-hmm.
the MLB estimates in modern day baseball game that 80 to 120 balls will be used per game.
Wow.
The life expectancy for a baseball right now is 2 pitches. And it honestly could go down to 1 with the new rules being enforced. I don't know. This
Yeah,
might have been a slightly outdated article, but I just thought that was absurd. 1 ball used in the entire game.
that's crazy.
So yeah, that's my quick little fact.
Wow, sounds like a pretty easy day for the ump back there, not having to throw those balls to the ball boy and hand the catcher a new ball. It's pretty seems like they had a pretty simple job that day. Speaking of umpires, who sucked this week? Who's the worst?
That is a great question. So the worst umpire of the week was Jordan Baker,
Woo!
June 26th, Yankees versus Red Sox. He had 86.6% accuracy,
Oh,
93.6% consistency. So just
jeez.
for so you can understand that, the league average is 94% accurate, 96% consistent. He's
So
at
he
86
stunk it
and
up.
93. He got 21 calls incorrect. I'm going to
Ooh.
put his image in the Discord. Just an ugly zone. He's given so many inside pitches. I would have been so mad as a pitcher.
So last
Or, well, I
week,
guess as a batter.
so last week we gave it to Doug Eddings, I believe. 89 accuracy, 87 consistency.
Yes, that's correct.
So if we were to keep somebody as the throne bearer, the throne keeper, should we do that where you take into consideration who is the worst all year by
Yeah, the
keeping?
worst of the worst.
Yeah, should we try to do that?
We could do that.
Who do you pick? Because Doug faced a pretty similar opponent last week with a 85% accuracy to his 87, but the other guy had wait. Did we give it to Lance
No, we gave it to Doug.
because of his?
His inconsistency.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking at the bottom numbers. It's the top numbers, right?
Yeah, the top 2 are the most important.
Okay. So we gave it to Doug last week because his consistency was that much worse than Lance's, right?
Yeah, he was kind of all over the place.
So who do we give it to this week if you had to pick between these two? 87, 94 and 89, 87.
I might have to. So it really goes back to that thing of how important is consistency, because
Mm-hmm.
he was at least consistently giving the inside pitch and he wasn't giving up in the zone.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that's just so many wrong calls. And you watch a game and even if he's giving the inside pitch, the players are mad every time
Mm-hmm.
because just because he gave the inside pitch to some random batter, to not all of a sudden now you're not going to swing at that. Like you
Right.
still know the zone. So I think that Baker was worse because he just got so many calls wrong.
Yeah, it looks like he missed 4 more calls,
Yeah, I
maybe.
think that's right.
Yeah, I think we give it to Jordan Baker. I mean, it's a Sox-Yankees game too. It's probably on ESPN.
That's what I was thinking.
It's a pretty big game. People care about that one, actually. People that don't care about baseball. So yeah, I think you're right. I think we're gonna have to give it to Jordan Baker. Well done. Round of applause.
Round of applause for Jordan Baker, the Week 2 winner for the Joe West Award.
Good job. Joe West would be proud. Joe West is a proud father today.
I was a little upset because the third worst was Joe West, but he
Ah,
just wasn't bad enough.
he'll win it eventually.
One of these days he'll win it.
What are you doing, Joe? Step it
I
up.
know.
Come on, man.
So moving on to the other side of the coin, the best umpire of the week.
Billy
We
Clem.
had I don't think anyone is ever going to beat Pat Hoberg's game. That it was
Yeah.
honestly it was a masterpiece. This one's pretty good. 97.1% accuracy, 99.2%
Good job.
consistency.
Good
He
job.
got 5 calls wrong. Nothing too egregious. There were a few inside pitches that should have been balls that were strikes.
Mm,
But to give 5 wrong, one of them is kind of borderline, that bottom corner one. I mean, I think that's a damn good game.
that's a great game. Great game, Alex Tosi. How do you say that?
Unsure. 2 weeks in a row, I don't know how to pronounce the Bill Clem Award winner. I'll have to do some more research.
We're gonna say Tosi.
All right. Congratulations to Alex Tosi.
Yeah, congratulations. We'll eventually have like a reward system where we'll mail these people maybe like a gift card to Applebee's or something. But right now we don't really have the funding for that.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll give a gift card to Applebee's for the Bill Clem Award, and we'll give a gift card to Lens Crafters to the Joe West Award winner.
I love it. That's good. All right, now I'm itching to know, and I'm itching because there's ants in my house and they're biting me. But right now I'm itching to know if I won this week's role player draft.
All right, well, we're just gonna have to dig in and see.
All right, I know what my boys did, and I'm gonna tell you right now. I think I didn't win any categories based on the statistics I have in front of me.
That might be true.
Yeah.
I have my stats and I have Jack's stats. I do have yours as well.
All right.
Do we want to quickly run through category by category? I can read off mine and Jack's.
All right. We'll start with home run hitter, and we'll start with you.
All right, so home run hitter, Shohei Ohtani, 5 home runs. Second half of the week, he exploded.
Yep.
I don't think anyone's beaten that.
I don't think so. What did Jack have with Fernando Tatis?
Tatis hit 3 all in one game, so I thought he was going to easily have that.
And then he stopped there, huh?
Yep.
Good for you. Well, my guy, the junior Vlad, also had only 3, all in different games. So I think that's, I'd like to see consistency out of my guy, and I think I'm going to keep him. So I'm happier than Jack is.
That's
I
true. It's not
think.
like he was just beating up on one pitcher.
Yeah, he was showing he can do it every night. But congratulations, Shohei's a cheat code.
Thank you. Thank you. I think
I'm
he
really
was the
glad that
last
you
pick in
got
the
him.
draft.
Oh, you're right. He was a lock for you, wasn't he? I think when you saw us pick those 2 guys, you must have been foaming at the mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move on to base stealer.
Base
How
stealer. What a
about your
lame
guy,
week.
Ronald?
Ronald
How'd he do?
Acuna won.
Nice.
Jack with Whit Merrifield also had one until last night.
Are
And
you
he stole another base,
you
so
kidding
he's
me?
got 2.
2? Are you kidding me?
I know.
What a dimwit. Trey Turner had 1. Big whoop.
Look at the
Happy
cycle
day.
today.
Yeah, I know. But guess what? No stolen bases today. Even
Unbelievable.
though that wouldn't have mattered for this week, but I'm not really impressed with anything Trey Turner does unless it's a steal at this point. So, I mean, good for him though. Good for him. Jack, way to win the category. We'll just tell him that he didn't win any, though. All right.
That's good.
Next, we got Serial Walker coming up. How about
All
Max
right.
Muncy? How'd he do?
Max Monkey got 4. I was expecting more from him.
Well done.
Jack with Mookie Betts had 5.
Ugh. Yandy Diaz had 2. Wasn't taking very much this week. A lot of swinging.
Was he at least
So,
hitting?
I don't really care about anybody's stats on my team except for the ones that count, which is walks. And I don't know how he did this week. I hope he got, I hope he struck out 100 times for all I care.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to strikeout batter, Javi Baez, king of strikeouts. How'd he do?
The King had 10. Unbelievable number.
He's the chosen one. I think he was your first pick, and I think that was a great choice. I think it was brilliant to lock him up.
Yeah, I was worried after there were some home runs going off the board with Tatis and with Vladdy, but I think that was a good one. Jack had Joey Gallo with 6.
6. Nice. 6. Wow. It looks like your guys' players actually decided to swing and miss this week, which is really
So I'm very, very proud of my boy.
which is good. You guys did their jobs. My guy, Randy, only decided to strike out 3 times. Probably the least amount of strikeouts he's had in a 7-day span in his
That's
whole entire
probably
career.
true.
And I was lucky enough to pick him up at a pretty good place in the draft. I'm pretty happy with his 3 strikeouts. Fucking idiot. I need to at him or something. I need to get Twitter first, but
Yeah, there you go.
what a jerk. It's like everyone on my team so far has known that I picked them up. All right, let's move on to everyone's favorite category, strikeout pitchers.
Strikeout pitcher. I had the spider tack-less Garrett Cole.
Dangerous pick.
Only struck out 6. He's on the chopping block. I think I'm gonna hold him for another week, but not good.
Multiply that by 2 for his spider tack numbers, though, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jack had Zach Wheeler with 8. Pretty nice game.
Good for him. Fuck. Asshole. Gosh damn it. All right. Shane Bieber had 0 because he's hurt. What an idiot I am. Gosh. What a frustrating section this has been, us talking about my terrible draft. All right, let's move on to Johnny Walker. Who had the most walks this week?
So this week, I had Nick Pivetta with 4. Jack had John Gant also with 4.
Oh my gosh. And I had German Marquez with 1.
Yeah, it's another
1.
one where he was dominant this week. I think he had an 8-pitch, maybe. Well, he didn't walk anyone. I don't think he had any runs.
He walked one guy.
Yeah, and then he threw a shutout last night. So 2 starts, and he walked one guy.
Oh, yeah. He walked one guy last night. I thought you were talking about last night. Yeah, he had a dominant performance, no walks. Dominant performance, 1 walk. And I think he's like the 4th most walks in the league. I didn't take a risk on Yerman Marquez. I was like, I think it's funny that his name is German, and he's definitely not German. I thought that was funny. That's why I picked him. But then for him to have felt that energy coming from my draft board and to just have the audacity to throw those kinds of games, I feel attacked, honestly. Let's move on to anti-DeGrom.
All right, for anti-DeGrom, I feel like a proud father. Brad Keller gave up 10 earned runs. It was throughout 2 starts. He gave up 10 earned runs this week.
I could do that.
Oh, I'm so proud. And Jack with Fulte gave up 4.
Nice. My boy Dylan Bundy, another pitcher, another player on my team who decided to royally screw me this week. Really fed up with my whole team. I'm gonna have a big pre-game talking to for this week because Dylan Bundy. Get this, Andrew. I don't know if you knew this. He starts off the game against the Yankees, gives up a home run, and I think a single to score another run in the second inning. Ties the game 2-2. And he just starts sweating. Like he's never been out on the mound in a major league game before. Like he's never given up 2 runs in an inning. He decides he can't handle the heat anymore. And he's just dripping sweat, dripping sweat. It's pouring off of his hat. It looks like Niagara Falls coming over his bill, blocking his eyesight. I'm thinking, perfect. He's not going to even be able to see. He's sweating so much. Water's dripping into his eyeballs. There's no way he's going to be able to throw a strike. And then he looks DJ LeMahieu in his eye. DJ LeMahieu puts some kind of voodoo curse on him. And he just starts choking on his own vomit, Andrew. He threw up on the mound and they took him out. He was on his way to give up 10 in an inning.
It really is a shame we didn't have a category for blowing chunks, because he'd be
Dylan Bundy,
right up there.
chunk blower. What a jerk. You know, just so everyone knows, I lost every category. You won 3, Jack won 3. We tied 1 category, but the 2 people that tied were Jack and Andrew. So I didn't even tie. I didn't even get close enough to tie. My highest number out of all of these categories was 3. 3 home runs and 3 strikeouts. That's insane. If we add all these up, is that the tiebreaker? Is the tiebreaker going to be we add all the numbers up?
That's a good idea. I didn't. Well, I'm saying yes because I think I would win that, but that is not a bad idea.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to do it.
I was
I don't think
debating.
there would be any arguments about that. But I mean, we
Yeah.
could pick like a. I mean, I just would want the thing to be resolved right away. But we talked about having a category that's only gone to if it's tied.
Yeah, so I was debating between that, I didn't think of the adding the points. That's a good one. Or if we did, you get 2 points for winning a category, and then a tie is 1 each. Or I guess a 3-way tie would be 1 for everyone. But we'll tentatively move this conversation to next week. We'll see what Jack thinks. Hopefully he won't listen to this, and we'll pitch it to him before he knows the scores, and we'll see what he thinks.
Okay, that's a good idea. I would love to see him like choose to lose.
Yeah, screw himself.
So I was gonna say we can pick. We can just say this week we'll add him up, but I think it'd be hilarious to hear him say. He's asking me already if he won though. That's the only thing. But I guess I'll just tell him it was a tie.
Yeah, we'll say we're having a really hard time calculating the earned runs.
He'll just call me an idiot. But all right. So we can trade one guy this week, right, for a new guy. All right. And since I finished last, we decided I switch out first. Like that's going to make some huge difference. And it will. I think this next week things are going to turn around for me. Shane Bieber should be back, so I'm keeping him in. German Marquez. No way. No way he has 3 good starts in a row, right? No way he only walks 1 guy in his next 2 starts.
I like that idea.
But knowing that he pitched yesterday, he's only going to pitch once this week. So I could be switching him out because there's no guarantee that if I switch out Randy, he's going to ever beat Javi, whoever I put in there, you know? Javi seems untouchable. That might just be my throwaway slot. So I'm going to pick somebody for my new Johnny Walker, and I'll tell you who that is after you tell me who you're going to pick if it's not a Johnny Walker, because I haven't looked into this yet.
I am not going to make any moves, I don't think. I think I'm going to stay put with my team.
You're confident with your team, how it is?
The only one I'm not confident in is Garrett Cole, and maybe Nick Pivetta too as my walker, but I'm going to give him one more shot.
All right, that's fine with me. Let me find a pitcher who's going to pitch twice. Okay. All right. I've got my choice. I'm replacing Yerman Marquez. If he starts slumping, I will be upset. But I'm replacing him because he's shown he's got some stuff with Zach Davies of the Cubs. All right. I think he starts tomorrow. So hopefully we'll
Okay.
get 2 starts in.
Coming off of his no-hitter, well, his combined no-hitter,
Right.
which he did walk like 4 or something,
He walks.
maybe
He
5.
walks. He's got the second most walks in the league. He is my new pick for Johnny Walker. And I think now I want to motivate my team for next week. So I'm setting down a ground rule. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Every category I lose, I'll take half a shot of Canadian Hunter whiskey just to get my boys a little bit motivated to do
And
something
fired
for
up.
me, for once, you know? They had their week of fun and laughs. Like, they hazed me a little bit into the team, even though I created the team. They're like, wouldn't it be funny if we all just made him lose really badly and embarrass himself on national podcast networks that can be heard by kids in Korea? And yeah, they got me. All the Korean baseball fans who listen to our show during the Korean Baseball League offseason had a really good laugh. But this week's going to be different. I have a good feeling about it. I'm even staking my drunkenness on it. I'll even do a full shot per lost category because that's how confident I am. And I'm only doing this because Wednesday also happens to be my thermodynamics test, so there'll be reason to celebrate.
Nice.
And we'll have a good show. And it's near the end, so it's okay if I pass it on my keyboard or something. All right. Speaking of passing out on my keyboard, let's talk about music this week. I listened to Blonde on Blonde by Bob Dylan. Did you?
I did listen to it.
What'd you think? Jack's request. He hadn't listened to it, he said, but I know he likes Bob Dylan, so go easy on him if you hated it.
Yeah, so I think the hype maybe got to me because I looked up the reviews. It was everyone saying 10 out of 10, A
This is
plus.
the best album I've ever heard.
Yeah,
Was it like that?
exactly. It was exactly like that. So I think I was just expecting to be blown away,
Uh-huh.
and I wasn't. There were a few gems in there. I wrote
Good
in my
songs. Good
favorite
songs.
two were "Stuck Inside a Mobile" with the Memphis Blues again. It's pretty good.
Good story in that song. Just a
Yeah,
good, relatable story. Like, I don't want to be stuck in this town, Mom.
yeah. And then "Just Like a Woman" was pretty good. There were a few others that I had written down, and then other songs kind of passed it for me. But
Mm.
I did like some of them. I'm curious what your favorites were.
So I really liked Visions of Joanna,
Okay.
personally. That was one that I was like, I actually kind of like this song. Like, I like the words he's saying. I like the mood I'm getting from the song. Classic, harmonica wasn't too like, it wasn't too harsh on my ears in it. Like you mentioned, I think in the second song in the album, what
Yeah,
was it?
I'll cover that.
Yeah, like it's just sometimes it just kind of ear curdling. Um, but that one was nice and pleasant. I also thought Leopard Skin Pillbox Hat was one of the funniest songs I've ever heard.
Yes, that song was hilarious.
The part where he talks about, getting cheated on because of the leopard skin hat, I thought was hilarious. Like, it wasn't any other reason she was cheating on you. Like, that guy only wanted her because, like, the pillbox hat. Like, that hat it must have looked really good on her because here, I'll read you a line.
Okay.
I don't mind him cheating on me, but I sure wish he'd take off his head. Your brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. Well, I see. You got a new boyfriend. You know, I never seen him before. Well, I saw you making love with him. He forgot to close the garage door. The garage door. They're making love in the garage.
Bob, is that you?
And he's wearing her
The hat.
pillbox hat while they're making love. That is some kinky stuff, Jack. Oh my gosh. I didn't know he was like that. Disgusting.
That is awesome.
Thank
I
you.
also, so yeah, you mentioned it. My least favorite song, I had told you this earlier. It was Pledging My Time. Um, it so I had written this down before I got to that song, or maybe from the beginning of that song. I wrote a lot of harmonica, impressive, sounds like a guitar. He was doing a really good job. The harmonicas, he was making it sound like a guitar. I was like, this is awesome.
Hmm.
And then about a minute and a half into Pledging My Time, he just goes in on that harmonica.
He rips one.
I timed it. It was 30 seconds long. He had his harmonica solo. About 10 of those seconds is just the loudest harmonica you've ever heard. There's no notes. It's just one long note that is so loud. And I just couldn't do it. I had to take off my headphones. It was so loud.
Bob
And
Dylan
then
invented screamo harmonica.
I guess so. And then I wrote down a line also because in one of the reviews I read, they're saying he's such a wonderful storyteller. He just
Hmm.
tells these beautiful stories,
Yeah.
which I guess a lot of music is like this, where they're just talking about gibberish. But
Hmm.
this line, he goes, well, the hobo got too high and he came to me naturally. He stole my baby, then he wanted to steal me.
Huh.
What what does that mean? Like, sure, I guess if you just say anything, it can be considered a beautiful story because it's just so up to interpretation. But
Right.
I don't think he meant anything by that. I think he just said that because it kind of rhymed,
Yeah.
and then
I
people
mean,
ran with it.
as long as the person reviewing it has seen that in one of their fever dreams, I
Yeah,
think like
exactly.
somebody just relates to it somehow and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I get that. Like I feel that within me. The hobo stole my baby too." Or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
So I don't know. Well, what rating would you give it out of 10?
well, I do think that it's good like mountainy music. Like I can picture myself driving in the hills and just being like, windows down, like beer in my hand, obviously not driving the car, just sitting in it because I would never drink and drive. But I mean, it is a mood, and I'm gonna have to give it. It's not my kind of mood, honestly. I'll give it a 5. I'll go to
5.
5
Okay.
because I don't think it was terrible. I don't, but I want to leave room for improvement. I want to leave room for better than this album, and I want to leave room for worse than this album. So I'm giving it a 5 because partially because it's the first album we've listened to.
Okay. I think that is good. I was going to give it higher, but hearing your reasoning that I agree. I think just in general, if I just had to rank it, I could give it like a 7. Like it was solid. But if we're going in terms of I think there will be stuff that we listen to that's a lot better. So going
Hmm.
off of your rating system, I'm gonna give it a 4 because I don't
Okay.
think I liked it as much as you. But
Okay.
I didn't dislike it, but it didn't blow me away.
Right. You can tell like it's good music. It's not like my kind of music. Like I want to give something a 6. I want to give something a 6 that I enjoyed more than this, but I still didn't. You know what I mean? I want to leave room above and below
Yeah,
because I know
definitely.
I'll hate something more than this, and I know I'll like something more than this. It wasn't like a song. It wasn't an album I saved a lot of songs off of. And usually that's how I grade an album, how many songs I can save and listen to later. Like if I can listen to a song multiple times and enjoy it and like kind of get the rhythm in my soul a little bit, feel the song There
Hmm.
wasn't many where I was like, oh, I like that part where he's like, I just couldn't. I don't know, the harmonica doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I mean, again, I there is a time for Bob Dylan music. There is a, and I mean, this might not be the album that I would enjoy the most either. So like, there could be much better Bob Dylan songs out or albums out there for me. But it's good.
Yeah, I can basically 100% agree with that.
All right, perfect. So we can decide on a new album for this week. Do you have an album that we can listen to, and we'll let Jack know, listen to it
I
as
do
well?
have one. I'm willing to bet it's one that he's already listened to,
Okay.
but I'll give it anyway.
All right.
So it has. I think it's really good. It has two songs that we probably know because they were mainstream, and one of them definitely still. Probably both of them probably still are. So we could, if we want to, not include it in the rankings or whatever. But the album is Rush Moving Pictures.
Okay.
So it's an album with Tom Sawyer and Limelight, which are two, like I said, songs you could hear on the radio.
Yeah, I love Tom Sawyer, so that's
But the
perfect.
rest of them, I don't think you'll really hear ever.
Okay, that's a good one
I know
because
it's good. I've actually seen it in concert played, but I
okay,
was so young that I don't really remember it.
gotcha.
So it will honestly be new to me as well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it sounds good because like it's Rush is a band that I've heard of a lot. I know that they have good music, but I've never actually listened to a full album by them.
Right, yeah.
So, I think that's a great pick. I think that there will be insights to be had and much to be learned from this one. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of Loogie. We'll catch you next time. Hopefully, um, I'll win the pool this time and I won't have to get really drunk. Thanks for listening.